Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to our sweet home, Africa. It's a pleasure to have you as our viewer. All right, once again, my name is glorynezemma, and on our show today is
Damilola Oladele.
very good. All right, I will let her introduce herself because actually we've talked a lot about young people heading back to Africa to rebuild Africa and then actually go there as tourists so that they can attract more tourists to Africa. So we talked about it so much, but it's always good to see someone that has put what we talked into action, because you can talk and talk, but if you don't have the action, then your talking is worthless. So this is a young lady that has really taken a leap of faith by traveling to Africa as a tourist. All right, so she's here today, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her trip and then encourage other ones to travel to Africa. All right, so my dear Latifa.
Thank you, Auntie. So, my name is Damilola Oladele. I am a 28-year-old Nigerian American. I was born in Bronx, New York, but I reside currently in Rockland County. I work as a manager at Montefiore Health System, as an office manager working in the Office of Board Relations. And I recently traveled to Ghana and Nigeria this past February. My first time going to Ghana was in August of last year for a friend's wedding. And most recently I went to Ghana and Nigeria in February of this year. And it was great. It was my first time back in Africa when I went for the first time in August last year, since I was 4 years old. So it was a drastic change from the last time I remembered it. And I enjoyed my trip, although I didn't get to do as much sightseeing as I would have liked because I was there for a friend's wedding.
Okay.
The second time I went in February, I did a lot more sightseeing and touring, and it was a beautiful experience, and I encourage all Nigerians and Africans and diaspora to go back home when they can.
That is wonderful. Well, this is just the beginning, because actually she will show us pictures of her trip and
Yes,
everything.
Yes.
All right, but before we go, deeper, let me ask you this question. What prompted you to make this beautiful trip to Ghana?
So, when I went to Ghana for the first time in August, I was going for a friend's wedding because I was a bridesmaid in her wedding. So that's what led me there. And I was there for about a week and a half, and it was a beautiful time. It was my first time, like I said before, being in Africa since I was 4. So from the time I landed, I was smiling from ear to ear because I just loved being there. It felt like home. And again, I didn't get to do as much sightseeing and touring the first time I came, but just seeing the people and being in an environment and doing the little that I could there as far as going to the markets and going to the restaurants and certain lounges. It was beautiful. I loved it. The second time I went was in February, and this time around when I was in Ghana, I made sure to travel to Nigeria for 3 days. And both experiences were slightly different, but overall it was great. I felt like the second time around when I went, I wanted to go so I can see more of Ghana because I didn't get to see as much of it the first time around in August. So that's what led me to go and visit Ghana in February. And
Wow.
I said to myself, when I go this time around, I have to go to Nigeria because how can I be in Ghana and not visit Nigeria? And Nigeria and Ghana are neighbors, so the flight from Ghana to Nigeria was less than an hour.
Wow.
And I went to visit family, and although I was there for a short period of time, I enjoyed my stay.
Wow, this is wonderful. This is such great news because actually it's beautiful when you hear young ones talk about Africa the way that she is talking about Africa. I call her Latifa too, so that's her other name too. All right, so my dear Latifa,
Yes.
that's the name that I call her anyway. Okay, so when you were in Ghana,
Yes.
what are some of the highlights like that you will tell other young people that this is the reason why you really, really have to get to Ghana?
So I would say, for one, the culture.
Okay.
Ghana and Nigeria are not too different when it comes to culture. We do have some similarities in terms of the way we dress, just different ethnic groups. And the environment. I mean, Ghana is a pretty developed country compared to Nigeria, so I would say it's very safe for the most part. So I would say the culture, the food, they have great restaurants. I enjoyed the food personally. And just the people, the people are very nice. No one, you don't go anywhere and you're not approached or welcomed, with open arms. Everyone's always smiling, and it was just a great place to be. And I honestly would highly recommend anyone who is Ghanaian or Nigerian or wherever they're from to travel to Ghana. So that's what I would say.
Wow.
Yes.
This is really driving everything home. I am feeling nostalgic even where I'm taking this show from in New York. All right, so my dear Latifa, I am so excited. I'm speechless. Because like I said, I mean, it's good when you see people that are really doing what you want them to do. This is wonderful.
Right.
All right, so what advice will you give young people here that are growing up here that they're so afraid of going to Africa?
Right.
How are you going to clear some of their fears in terms of, I know most of them are stereotyped because they hear about, bad things about Africa. Because what I tell them sometimes, I tell them that Africa, we have Harlem, we have Hollywood.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that Harlem is not that. Harlem, I mean, it's beautiful here too. But what I'm just saying is that we have places that are so glamorous.
Right.
And then we have places that are homely.
Yes.
So most of the time when people travel from here, they take their camera and they go to the villages.
Right.
And then they bring those pictures to the public, and people think that this is what Africa looks like.
Yes.
So we have, well, like I said, we have glamorous places.
Right.
We also have villages, depending on where you want to go. So what are things that you want to tell the young ones in terms of the ones that want to go, but they're afraid because of what they have seen, on TV?
Right.
So what are advices that you're going to give them?
Yeah. So I find people who are not African having that problem or having that fear of wanting to travel to Africa and visit Africa because of things that they've seen growing up on TV, just hearing stories maybe from other people and not really having the full picture. Of course, over time things have changed compared to before when I was a teenager in high school, people not having the best things to say about Africa, thinking that Africa is just all trees, it's a jungle, it's a forest, and it's not like that at all. So I find that people who are not African who want to visit Africa tend to have that type of mindset. But for those who are African, born here and want to go back home, I think that a lot of them are curious to see, what it is that Africa is like right now, because social media, thank God, that's one of the, I think, positive things about social media. They tend to highlight the good parts of Africa.
Exactly.
It's not what people think it is. And if I had to say, I feel like if anything, being there in some aspects is better than being here in America, because you're amongst your people.
Exactly.
You're
welcome.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
And you feel a sense of belonging.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, which is exactly what I felt the first time I went back home. And it's well developed. There are always things to do, especially if you're young. There's opportunities to start businesses, to meet people, to establish, a life there if you really wanted to. And I think people should have an open mind when it comes to Africa and the way it is today. I mean, of course, like you said, there are good neighborhoods and there are bad neighborhoods. There are ghettos, if you will, there are here in this country, but it's definitely not all bad. And I would highly, highly encourage and recommend anyone, whether you're Nigerian, Ghanaian, Ethiopian, from Rwanda, to visit all parts of Africa. I always said that after visiting Ghana twice, that I would love to go to other countries in Africa besides Ghana and Nigeria, and see what else there is, because again, it's not the way people portray it to be. It's not, jungles and trees. I think people will be pleasantly surprised if they were to visit Ghana or Nigeria or any other country in Africa that's developed, and see that, okay, wow, this is actually, it's kind of like America. It's not it's not like the way people portray it to be on TV.
So actually, that means it's a good idea for you to go and see for yourself.
Yes.
So don't go by what people are saying.
Right.
So go and see for yourself.
Yes.
All right. So we'll take a little break and then we'll continue. All right.
We will thrive, but divided we will fall. So let's get together and build our land. United we will thrive, but divided we will fall. So let's get together and build our land. land.
Okay, so we'll continue with Latifa, that I call her, her other name. All right, so she will continue to give us, more information about her trip to Ghana, and then once again continue to advise the young ones to start heading back to Africa to see for themselves what Africa looks like. Okay, so I know you stayed somewhere. Did you stay with a relative, or were you in a hotel? Where did you stay when you went to Ghana?
So when I went to Ghana in February, most recently, I stayed in an Airbnb. And the
Airbnb?
Yes.
Oh,
Airbnb.
what is it? In case.
So Airbnb is...
I know I'm a little older, but I know the younger ones now. But it's good to explain. So that they will know that we have Airbnb in Africa.
Yes.
Because I hear it in the Western world.
Right.
But just let people know so that they can travel.
So Airbnb is a site that you can go on to look for an apartment or a house to stay in and rent for a few days or a few weeks, however long your trip is. And of course, depending on the area, depends on the pricing and the time that you're going to. But there is Airbnb in Ghana, in Nigeria, and in other parts of Africa. So I know a lot of people, especially younger ones, are familiar with Airbnb, probably only here in the States or maybe in other well-developed countries, but there is Airbnb in Africa. And the Airbnb that I stayed in was through a friend that I met. It was a mutual friend, and we connected online, and he said that he has apartments that he rents out through Airbnb. And I told him, well, great, like how much does it cost? Because for me that was the main thing, price, because I didn't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a place that I was going to just lay my head in at night, because most of the time I was out and about. And I only ended up spending, I believe, $50 a night for the Airbnb.
That's wonderful.
Yes, and I'll send you pictures, and I guess this will be where you...
So young ones, did you hear that? $50. So when you travel somewhere else, I don't want to mention names, like all over the world that you travel, you will spend more than that.
Yes.
But look at how much you will spend in Africa, just not that chicken change, to get exactly what you want.
Yes, and it was a very nice Airbnb, very clean, and it was very safe too. I didn't feel at one point that my safety was in jeopardy. I felt like I was just as fine there as I would be in a hotel. And because Africa is set up a bit differently as far as apartment complexes and houses, we have what we call gate man. And there was a gate man at the apartment complex that will buzz you in and buzz you out, and they obviously know who you are because you have to provide your name and information. And I stayed in a one-bedroom. I want to call it like a studio apartment, if you will, because it was an open floor. There was a bathroom, a kitchen, a sitting room, a bedroom. It was very nice.
There was wonderful.
Someone to always come in at the end of the day to clean. But I know that all places are not like that, but that was just based on the service that I got through the mutual friend.
Wow, it sounds like a beautiful place.
Oh yes,
because actually you will show us pictures.
Yes,
because I know some people that want to travel to Ghana might even like to stay there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And he's a very, very reputable person that I rented the Airbnb through. It's a legit business that he does, and I think for anyone who is interested in going to Ghana, I'll provide his information. And if anyone is interested in staying in an Airbnb, I highly recommend going through this person who I'll
that's wonderful. That is wonderful. Yes. So our viewers will give you the information for this Airbnb.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
In case if you're going to Ghana, you might call him and be there.
Yes.
Okay.
But it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I loved it. And where I stayed was also not very far from the city.
Okay.
So it was within maybe a 5 to 10 minute drive of Accra Mall, or going to just certain local restaurants, or maybe even like lounges and places like that. There are so many things to do, so many places to see, and I loved it overall, honestly.
Wow, I am absorbing the whole information. This is like music to my ears. It's entertaining me, because this is exactly what we've been praying and hoping for the young ones in diaspora to start heading home.
Oh yes, for sure.
Wow, this is wonderful. Yes. All right, then in terms of the food.
Yes.
I know a lot of people like African food in the diaspora, but now you went to Africa, so that means you ate African food 24 hours a day.
Yes, I did. I did. And I mean, when I say authentic African food, I mean nothing like it. I mean, of course, the food that you eat here is good, but imagine it like coming from like the source, like at home. You know what I mean?
Let me just project in a little bit, because there's something that you said.
Yes.
You said authentic,
Yes.
and then I will add authentic, organic
Yes.
food.
Yes, indeed. It's definitely. I think what it is that because it's organic, like you said, you don't feel. You know, at times, you know, when you eat food, like you feel heavy, you may feel tired even. But when I was there in Ghana and Nigeria, like eating both foods, I felt perfectly fine. I didn't feel like sluggish or anything like that. The food
Because they're
felt
natural
fresh.
food.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
it's homegrown.
There's nothing synthetic
no
about it.
GMO,
Exactly.
completely organic.
Exactly.
So, I mean, to be honest with you, like if I do go back, that's like the one thing that I'm looking forward to is the food. Because the food is so good and it's so fresh, and I mean it's amazing. And of course, like I love Nigerian food. Ghanaian food is good too, but it was so good, so good. Yes.
I am speechless, because actually she's making me so happy.
Yes.
And that's another part that I want to go into, actually, because I know the young ones, they always love their skin.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, you know, I
Yes.
want smooth skin, I want smooth skin. There's something about Africa, actually. Whenever I travel to Africa, when I come back to New York,
Right.
everyone will be looking at me like my skin is so smooth. And I can see that your skin is so smooth.
Thank you.
So that's the climate
It's
of
the
Africa,
African
is it?
sun. Yes,
Wow.
yes indeed. Yes indeed. I mean, of course, like the weather, it's very humid at times, and it also can be very hot. But the weather is, at least the time that I went to Ghana, the first time around when I went in August, I mean, I was so afraid that it was going to be like 1,000 degrees outside, that I would be sweating bullets. But it was actually very cool, like cooler than New York even, believe it or not. And it was similar to like that, the weather was similar to in February when I went. And it was just nice, cool weather. I mean, the African sun, if you're melanin and dark skin like I am, of course you're going to get darker, but I feel like it's a good thing. I feel like it's a good thing.
Wow.
It does your skin good, honestly. It doesn't,
Wow.
it doesn't affect me personally in any way, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
You know, thank you so much, Latifa. I mean, we can keep on going and
Yes,
going about
yes.
all the beautiful things that she saw in Africa. All right, but we're going to bring her back next time. So we'll stay here for now,
Yes.
and then end here for now.
Yes.
So that at least we'll give her time to bring the pictures and other things that she wants to tell us about Africa. So
Yes.
expect her again on our show.
Yes.
So Latifa, I thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
honoring my
Auntie.
invitation to
Thank
be
you,
here.
of course.
It's always a pleasure to
Always,
have you.
always.
And
Thank you.
our young ones, once again, we told you that Africa is so beautiful.
Yes.
So I think you should start heading back to Africa. At least see for yourself. So
Yes.
don't go by what people tell you. Go by what you see. All right? Okay, so we'll continue our show. Thank you once again for being a viewer. May
Thank
God
you.
bless you. So subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you.
indeed.
Thank you.